on this computer. Right, we're good. Okay, welcome to the webinar. I forgot to push record. My name's Andy, and I'm going to go through this. Right, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to go through the Boxercise pre-course prerequisites. What are the benefits of taking the Boxercise course? What is the course content?
Well,
How do we deal with complete beginners? How do we deal with really experienced boxers and trainers? Because we do get them. And then what are the post-course support? And if I do have time at the end, I'll show you a couple of things that will just save your shoulders getting blown away. Because no doubt quite a few of you will probably be doing pads or doing some kind of boxing related fitness already. So I'm going to cover some things to try and make it a little bit useful to you as well. So you gain some value out of it rather than just listen to me waffle on. What are the pre-course requisites? Right,
I'm
this
not doing a
is
webinar
not.
at the minute.
Oh,
But,
I'm just gonna mute someone. Where are we? Okay. What are the pre-course requisites? This course is not aimed at complete beginners. We are teaching people to teach others. We don't train people so that they can just be enthusiasts. There are some training providers out there that will do that, but that essentially dilutes the quality of the people that get turned out. We don't do that. So if people are enthusiasts, we turn them away. We only train the people that are going to be coaching others when they're doing this. So for that, you require, and there's many different things. So if you're not sure about your qualification, just email us, phone us, and ask us. But the usual things are level 2 in fitness coaching, now level 2 in sports coaching, but some level 1s, especially in the Republic of Ireland, are eligible because they don't have what's called an assistant instructor level. So someone's got to be able to take a session on their own. If you're a martial artist, black belt level is equivalent to that. We also recognize qualifications from overseas, but we do have to research them. So we have to know that they're of a good enough quality to admit people to the course. Exercise to music is accepted. And obviously for those people who are armed forces PTIs, they're trained to a very high level. So they're acceptable too. A-level PE, those sorts of things as well, obviously acceptable. And sports science degree, that's my background myself, sports science degree, that is acceptable too. So those are the kind of things that we look for. But the reason that we have prerequisites is so that we have a good standard of entry coming into the course. If someone doesn't know how to warm someone up and how to cool them down, or the knee bone's connected to the thigh bone, for example, then really they're not going to be the kind of person that's going to get the best out of this. Now, okay, so what are the benefits of doing the Boxercise Instructor course? Well, we're the industry leader. We're worldwide recognized. We're currently present in, although I've got on my notes here, 54 countries. It's actually 55 now. We've had another one come on board since then. And despite the fact that we are the industry leader and have the highest standards in the world at this, we are actually the industry's cheapest, which you think, well, how come that works? The reason that we're the cheapest is because we train over very close to 3,000 people per year, whereas the nearest people to us are training around about 200, 250 people per year. So we have the benefits of the economies of scale, and we have a big operation here, which we just do one thing. That's all we do. We just do one single thing. So that's why we're able to keep the costs as low as humanly possible. Benefits. People are going to come to you and they're going to ask you, do you do Boxercise? They're not going to come and ask you, do you do punch and crunch? They're not going to ask you, do you do, I don't know, just something else of that kind of ilk. They're going to ask you, do you do Boxercise? And you'll be able to just say yes. And that's what they're going to do. A Mintel study showed back in, I don't know, a few years ago, that 79% of the UK population have heard of the word Boxercise. They know what it means. So they'll ask for it by name. It is based on boxing, the sport of boxing, obviously. But the thing is that boxing is a bit of a fear word for some people. And even though I'm a professional boxing coach myself, there are plenty of people that will come and say, do you do boxing? And you're like, yeah, and they go, "What am I going to get punched in the face?" With Boxercise, no one's expecting to get punched in the face, so you're onto a winner there with that. So those people that are afraid of that will come in, but boxing can be a fear word. Do be careful of using that. Obviously, as well, Boxercise is a registered trademark, so only people that have done the training and passed it can use the name to describe it. So you can use it to teach a class. There's one benefit. You can use it to teach a class. And also you can use it for personal training. The skills are transferable. So you don't have to do just one or the other. You can do both. You can use it for boot camp, and also you can use it for kids. And family classes are hugely popular and hugely profitable. For anyone even thinking of doing that, I would urge you to look at that. Actually, as well, if I figure out how to do, there's a chat box on here. I'm not sure how you work the thing. I'll try. I'll try and do it later on. And what I'll do is I'll try and put in, or I'll email it out to you. We've actually done a free course, and it's on how to launch a successful fitness class in 6 weeks. It's free to anyone that wants it. Obviously, we want it to be a Boxercise class, but if it's going to be kettlebells or something else, whatever, it's free to access. So, you can go and then you get it. It's about 2-3 hours worth of stuff, and it literally is week by week guidance. So I'll send you the link for that if that interests you. Um, I can't see the chat box, but I will try and put that thing in. You'll also be able, the other benefit, you'll be able to get insured. If you're not, yes, please, the chat box has popped up. Thank you, Sam. If I can hit that, right, okay. Now that Sam's done that, I'm glad you found where the chat box is. If I copy and paste it, there, right, okay, you can see two links. For those watching the recording, just ask us, we'll send it out to you. Top link says Boxercise Instructor, etc. courses. That's where the courses are. Oh, I have to push enter before it goes. The next one is one that is on my personal coaching channel, and it's called Wake Sports Coaching. And that's 6 weeks to launch a successful fitness class. Click it, go there, it's free, go take it. And like I say, I hope it's a Boxercise class you launch, but if it's something else, then whatever, it's free. So just get on with it. You'll be able to get insured if you do a Boxercise instructor training course. You'll be able to be insured to teach a Boxercise class. You've got to make sure that you are insured before you go teaching something and have the right paperwork. Otherwise, you can get in a lot of hot water with that. Who is going to be teaching you is one of the things we get asked all the time. Our master trainers, the people that are the course tutors who are going to be teaching you, they have at least 5 years boxing coaching experience. They're not just boxers. And I don't mean to disrespect anyone who's a boxer, because I coach hundreds of them. They're not just boxers. They are boxing coaches with at least 5 years experience. We prefer them to have had international boxing experience or professional boxing experience. I wasn't an international boxer. I was a professional boxer, but we prefer them to have that. And they have to have either sports science degree or equivalent before we then train them for 2 years. And then once they've been trained for 2 years, they can teach our courses. And they do it under our jurisdiction, and they're verified constantly by us. I'm head of coaching, so I'm watching for those guys all the time. We're recognized as having the highest standards in the world by the AFAA, the American the Aerobic and Fitness Association of America. They are essentially the world's fitness governing body, and they've recognized us as being #1 since '98 now, so quite a long time. Course content. What is in the course content and what's the delivery? Well, obviously, we've got to teach you the punches. Then we're going to teach you footwork. Now, footwork is what we call movement in boxing and Boxercise. Then we teach you the pads. Now, that's the most important part of it, because that's where you can actually get injured if you don't do that right. So we teach you how to hold the pads and safely and effectively for a beginner. So none of this flappy pad nonsense. That's the kind of thing that you'll see people doing on YouTube, but please don't copy what you see on YouTube. Just because someone's got a YouTube channel doesn't mean that they've got any idea whatsoever. So then we teach you how to apply those skills into either a personal training session or into a class. And then we'll show you examples thereof later on. And it's an assessed course as well. It's not one of them things where you just turn up and you are passed on the day, sorry, passed just for turning up. We tell you on the day if you've passed or failed. And if you don't make the grade on the day, you're invited to resit free of charge. We do not charge for resits. You pay for the training, you get the training, we get you to the standard. But if you don't make it on the day, we'll guide you and help you. But you don't get to wear that across your chest unless you earn it. That's our approach with that. There was another question that I didn't answer as well. Types of delivery, right? You can do it online. You can do it by Zoom. We've got one this Saturday if anybody is desperate to get on that. We've got what we do Zoom. There's online distance learning. Now that suits if you're a PE teacher. That suits PE teachers because you can do like 2 hours one day, 2 hours the next day, wait a week, do a couple of hours then, and you can do it at your own pace. And that suits a lot of people, especially those in outlying areas that can't make our venues. Now, there are 10 venues in the UK and the Republic of Ireland that we do courses face to face. So, you know, the major cities, they're obvious. So, London, Leeds, Birmingham, Manchester, and some others. Newcastle, my hometown, forgetting that one. But there are loads and loads that you can go to. But for some people, travel is just not an option. So you can do it online if you wish, and the same support is given. If we need to coach you one-to-one on a video, then we do it. We make sure that that's done. Okay, the question that we often get asked next is how do we deal with complete beginners? Now, this is the thing. Everyone is a beginner once. I was a beginner once, complete beginner. And we're not teaching people to do this. We are teaching people to teach this. Now, even if you've had a lot of experience in doing boxing, you might not have had any experience or going to a Boxercise class. You might not have had any experience in actually teaching it. So we teach you how to teach it to others. There is an enormous difference between those two things. And, you know, even if you're an advanced boxer, you might not have been taught how to do this. And one of the things, this happens in every boxing club I've ever been to, except for one boxing club, the one that I coach at currently in Barnstaple in the southwest of England. And it's a brilliant club. We've got 2 lads that are national champions. We've got about 4 or 5 that are national finalists. So it's a really good club. I enjoy coaching there. One of the things that's not taught in most boxing gyms, and if you're doing any kind of punching, any kind for martial arts, for boxing, for Boxercise, etc., you must teach this, that when you make a fist, the thumb is outside of the hand, there, like that. Some places they just say make a fist, or they just put them in the gloves and they don't show them that the thumb must be outside of the hand. This is really, really vitally important. So do make sure you do that if you are doing this. And we're teaching people how to teach it, not just to do this. Another question we get asked as well, how do we deal with really, really experienced boxers? Well, strangely enough, exactly the same. We don't know that they know exactly how to teach it to others. And inevitably, they come in with some fantastic skills, which is great, because what we can do is we can pair them up with someone that's not necessarily quite as good, and they can push each other up like this. And they almost kind of get one-to-one coaching, if you like. But the thing is, you can't assume just because someone's really good at something that they know what they're doing, why they're doing it well, and also that they know how to teach that to others. Now, the other thing that we do is we spend a lot of time when we're on the pads teaching people different methods of coaching. I call it Andy's circle of coaching awesomeness. For those of you that are into sports psychology, this is a replacement for Whitmore 96 model. And basically, you demonstrate and explain something correctly to someone. You then look and observe a fault. So you've got to be taught how to look for a fault. How do you know that this is a bad punch position and this is a good punch position? So you're looking for the biomechanical markers that tell you this. We point that out and we teach you how to spot them faults. Which seems obvious, but you know, these are the things that people need to do. Basic fault correction. And then moving around that circle, we then go around to show you how to offer different forms of feedback. Now, these will take the form of visual feedback, auditory feedback, what you hear, and kinesthetic feedback. touch and feel. And we'll show you as well which one of those cannot be used with autistic people, because one of those methods cannot be used. One of them is ineffective, so essentially you just stick with one of them. And we'll go through all of those different things for different preferences that people will have. Now, teaching someone to uh, what to do it correctly is only part of it. Teaching to spot a fault is another part. Teaching how to offer feedback is another part, but then don't forget the feedback loop that goes around like this. So these are the things that we work on. We work on the coaching process, and the idea really is to make people safe first. That's the most important thing. Then do they have fun next? And then after that, do they look like Sugar Ray Leonard? Well, that's a distant third, and we're looking to do that. And that's the idea, we're just trying to get people to be safe to a point, teach the basic safety things, to have some good fun with that. And also you learn hundreds and hundreds of drills to apply these basic techniques with. And then if you want to, we offer further skill development courses later that you can apply all these different skills to. But essentially, you can't build on top of sand. You've got to, well, in Pisa they did, but it's a bad example. But you've got to build on top of a strong foundation. So we build the foundation with the foundation course. Then you can add to that should you wish to do so later on. And one of the things you'll often hear from people is, well, why don't you just go to a boxing club to learn how to hold pads? I've coached in hundreds of boxing clubs, trained in hundreds of myself. As a boxing coach, if you come to us and you asked us, can you teach me how to hold pads? The answer is no. We're too busy dealing with the boxers in the gym. Some of them have got contests coming up. We don't have time to train people how to do this. So if you want to go to a boxing gym, I think that's fantastic. Really great idea. And you can pay something back to the sport because it's a wonderful sport. I love it. But you've got to go in there with something that you can actually do beyond make cups of tea for the coaches. There are plenty of parents in boxing gyms that are making cups of tea and cups of coffee for us. We don't need another one of them. We need extra people to hold the pads, but they've got to have the basic safety things. If they don't know how to hold pads, they're no good to us. We can't do anything with them. So going to a boxing gym to learn to hold pads is completely impractical and is inevitably said by people who've probably never been to a boxing gym in their life. Right, that's the last I'll say about experienced boxers. Post-course support, there is loads of it. That it would take, when I explain it on a video, it takes about 30 minutes just to go through it. What's important, I suppose the thing that's important, once you've done the train, there's course manuals, videos, DVDs, but what's really, really useful is you also, once you've done the course once you've paid for it once, it is free for life for you to refresh it. Now, if you come and do it face to face, you also get the online version of it. If you do it online, you can also then go and refresh the course face to face. And let's say you do your course in the UK the first time, and then you move to Dublin, and then to Dubai, and then to Mumbai after that. You can do the course in each of those places face to face. So by all means, you can do that, and it is free. There are 26 weekly emails that will say, practice this week, practice this week, practice this week, and what to do and what to teach, and loads of helpful hints and ideas for you to do. And of course, new drills. Where are we? The other one, it's really new as well. And I've put the link in the chat box there. The thing that says 6 weeks to launch a successful fitness class. We want your classes or your PT to be successful. When you're successful, we're successful. So we've done a free course on that. There's no upsell to it or anything. It's just free. Go and take it. Use that link, go in, get the thing, and then you can get that for free. And once you've done that, you can then just follow the steps, 6 weekly steps, bite-sized chunks, 10-minute video in each thing, and then it's got tasks that you've got to complete. It's like week 1, find a venue, find a place to run it, those sorts of things. And then by week 6, you're ready to launch your class, and you've got everything all in place. And all you do is you've got tasks to follow week by week by week like that. And if you do the training course, you'll get access to our Facebook group, and then you can have some accountability in there where you can kind of help each other and egg each other on. Because, like I say, we want you to be successful, and successful, it means different. Success means different things to different people. Most people, it means financial. To other people, it means running a really, really good class. For other people, it's bolstering their reputation. There's all sorts of things that success means different things to different people, but by and large, most of the time it's got to pay for itself. So the focus of that course is on making you financially successful. Beyond that, if your views are more altruistic, then good for you, fantastic. Where are we? I did say I'd give you a couple of useful tips. We're running a bit late, but let me turn my camera, my thing round, and I'll show you something that's useful. Then if there's any questions, you can ask them, and otherwise I'll just kill the recording then, because you guys have been you can see our office now, or at least part of it. I'm in the office rather than in the gym, because the gym is freezing. All right. Okay, so I've got my pads on. Let me see if I'm in shot. Yeah, just in shot. Okay, when you've got your pads on, there are 3 shock absorbers that I want you to have when you do the pads. Now, 2 of them, even if you're experienced, you're going to know them. 2 of them are obvious, but 1 of them is not obvious, and you'll only know it when you're trained how to do this. Okay, so your first shock absorber, obviously, are your arms and shoulders like this. Okay, can you see this? I'll just kneel down in front of this so you can see a bit better. Right. These dots, they cannot be outside of my shoulder. If they're outside of my shoulder, this is going to kill me, okay? Now, they've got to be inside. You literally just need to be able to see through them like that. You don't want them as close to your head as I've got them. And when they punch, they're going to punch across. So it's going to go out of the way. Let me just point this out as well. With your pads, this here must be, I'm trying to get out in front of the camera. This here needs to be touching the pad. If you're here, your wrist is in the wrong position, so you're in all kinds of trouble if you do this, or if you do this kind of nonsense. Keep your pads still. So your shock absorber number 1 are your arms and shoulders. Okay, your shock absorber number 2 are your legs. Okay, here's the thing, your legs must be bent to absorb shock. I see a lot of people standing like this because they're tired. Straight that leg like that. Now all the shock is on my shoulders. Okay, now your 3rd shock absorber, and this is the one that nobody knows about, but I want to share with you because it's dead useful. Okay, it's a forward body lean like this. Now when you do this, I'm in this position, I've got my 2 shock absorbers and I lean forward. And this is hard for boxers because most of us, when we box, we're on our back foot like this so that we've got more power in the back hand. We do the opposite on pads. Now, the reason for that is when someone punches me, I go upright. I'm still able to maintain a bend in my back leg when I do that. If I'm upright and someone punches me and I go into hyperextension like that, back leg goes straight. All the shock is on my shoulders, okay? And just for your clients, please do this. Please promise me you're going to hold the pads. I don't mind so much if you meet the punch by going forward a little bit like this. But what you must never do, ever, is pull the pad back to meet the punch, because that will cause hyperextension at the elbow. And the truth is as well, if a boxer is making the kind of mistake that means that you're able to time their jab, quite frankly, that's the very first thing you should be working on, because you should not be able to time a boxer's jab. If you could time my jab, I would be insulted. I'd be horrified if you could time my jab, because it means I'm doing something wrong, really wrong with it, for you to be able to do it. Right, sales pitch. Right, if you go to our course website, even go to our website. If you want to buy 2 courses, 219 quid, and you can pay with PayPal 3, so you can spread it over 3 months. That's a sales pitch. That's all done. We are finished, guys. If there's any questions, I'll answer the questions, but that's the end of the webinar. I hope it was useful. Are there any questions? You can either unmute yourself or you can leave if you wish. Alternatively, you can put it in the chat box if you can find the chat box, which I was unable to do before.
Just a quick one, Andy. From you see, with your pad holding, just to give you a bit of an upscale. I'm a coach. I'm a coach amateur boxing myself as well.
Oh, nice one. What club are you at, Junior?
It's what they're called Logan Boxing Club up in Scotland.
Oh, right. No, I don't know the area because we do local shows, so I don't see the guys from up there. But nice one, cool. How many carded boxes have you got?
Uh, we've got about seven.
Yeah, nice one. That's good.
But it's only a small club. It's only a small club, so
Yeah, yeah,
it ebbs and flows. It comes and goes. So some of the youth sort of come through. Um, but just correct me if I'm wrong though, because what I try to do also with the when I'm doing pad work, because I do most of, if not all of the pad work at our club.
yeah,
Um, and over the years, I've had one or two guys that they, as you were saying, they like to try and sort of push forward through the punch as
yeah.
well.
Do you know
So
what? With professionals and with really good amateurs, that's all right, but you don't do it with beginners. Tell you where you do meet to, Junior, to there, because through the centre mass there, all the punches will come through there. So you straights, uppercuts, hooks will come through there. Body hooks obviously come through the belly button. But if
yeah,
you meet your pad to there, to that centre line there, you can
right.
do it quite well. Yeah,
Because again, as you said in the past, and I've kind of had to sort of adjust how I'm sort of holding the pads as well as trying to sort of say to the guys, well, look, try not to push you as you said, try not to push forward through the jab so much or through your whatever sort of combination of punches I'm telling them to throw. So because I mean, there's
well, the thing
times,
is
but
that
obviously I do want them stepping forward with it, but when I'm on doing the pads with it, I don't want it because obviously I've done myself a little sort of injuries on the shoulders from obviously trying to hold them wrong while they're trying
every,
to
in fairness,
get.
Junior, every boxing coach I know has got bad shoulders, just about all of them.
Yeah,
Tell you what, I'll spin my camera around. Guys, I've seen there's two more questions popped in the chat box. Junior, I'm just going to answer your question with a demo because it's much easier for me to do than to
right.
do it with talking. I'm not sure if you can see my feet in this. If I can get my feet in it, it's better. Right. So you know when you stand and when you're boxing, this foot's at 45 degrees, this foot's at 45 degrees, my shoulder's pointed to my center line of the opponent, and I'm here like that.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
that's brilliant for boxing, but bloody awful for pads. So I'm in this position there, this shoulder's too far back.
Yeah.
This shoulder's back, this one's forward. So I cannot get my pad dot outside of this shoulder. So your
Mhm.
shoulder, the one you'll have a bad shoulder with, it would be your front shoulder. Everyone's got the front shoulders bad. So what you do when you're on the pads is turn to a square stance, and then you
Right.
can bring that arm in front of the shoulder, and that, I promise you, fixes it. What it is if you've got a really strong boxing background, you'll stand like that instead
Mm.
like that. If you change your foot position to straight on, that will
Right.
fix it for you, Junior.
Okay. Right.
It's
Right.
just one
Right.
of them little things, but no one teaches these things except for us. So,
Yeah.
and you know what? We learn by everyone else makes mistakes. We've made
Mistake.
mistakes. Jeez,
Yeah.
I've made more mistakes than everyone. That's why I've got a vague idea what I'm doing.
Mm.
I've got a couple of other questions. Sonia's question: do you need any qualifications or to be a PT in order to do the course? Sonia, I did explain this before. Yeah, you do need. You cannot be uh, an enthusiast to do this course. It's you've got to be either a level 2 in fitness, exercise to music, or you could be a level 2 in PT, level 2 sports coach. Go back and watch the beginner thing of the first part of this video again because I explain it in more detail. But yeah, we don't. These courses are not for enthusiasts. Some of the training providers do courses for enthusiasts, and then they give them a coaching qualification at the end. We would be deleting the quality, depleting the quality of the instructors that come out. So if you don't have a fitness qualification, you'll need to get one before you can come onto the course. It's not for complete beginners, I'm afraid. And then we've got Paul. How do you assess the course if you're taking the online distance learning option? Right, it's actually quite robust. So the first thing is what you do is you do the you've got a video where you've got to send a video of you teaching the punches to a camera. You send that to us. You also have to spot faults of somebody who is punching. Um, so I'll, for example, I'll do a punch with my thumb inside my hand like that, and you've got to be able to spot that from different angles. And then you say, and you take the fault to say what it is. So we're looking for, can you spot the fault? Can you demonstrate it correctly? And then you've got to be able to do a couple of other bits with the punches. So you submit a video on that one. On the pads, you then submit two videos. One is of you teaching the basic pad positions, making sure that you're not flapping the pads or doing anything unsafe. And the other one is of you teaching the fault. So let's say I make a mistake. So I do 1, 2, 3, but my elbow is way too low and it's in a bad position. You then must coach the person that you're working with using visual, auditory, and kinesthetic methods of feedback to demonstrate all three, to demonstrate to us that you understand how they would work in that situation with that fault, with that person. And at that point, then we pass you on the pads. You then go on to a very short questionnaire, actually, which is only about 5 questions on class structure, just to demonstrate that you've understood it. It's our way of testing that you've watched it. For those of you that are SimSpur, CIMSPA, SimSpur members, funnily enough, it's really weird, but our online version of the course actually gets more CPDs than the face-to-face version of the course. Go figure. I don't know why, but it's because the testing procedure is more robust, I think. Got another one, Sonia saying there. Dylan, how many courses do we run? Oh God, loads, mate. I teach about 50 myself a year. We run, oh, sorry, do you mean, I thought you meant all over the world. We'd like 300-400 per year. We do different courses. So the basic one is called Boxercise Instructor Training Course. If boxing is your thing, you then go on to the advanced Boxercise Instructor Training Course. And then if real elite stuff is your thing, you go on to speed pads. So if you watch Floyd Mayweather pads, that kind of thing, that's the route there. If you're more the fitness route, you go, usually people go kick boxercise, which is adding elbows, knees, and kicks to the punches. And then after, you can do the advanced course if you prefer. But a lot of people go down the line of doing the kids boxercise instructor course. One, it makes you a better adults instructor, and two, it's incredibly lucrative. It's very, very lucrative running classes for kids. So that's they're the ones that we run. We will be doing a one for Parkinson's boxing later on in the year, probably going to be April, something like that. And on my link that I put there, which is the Wake Sports coaching thing, and I'll put the link down here again. In that thing as well, there's some courses I've developed which are things like sprint coaching for boxers, sprint training for boxers, periodization for boxing training, combat training, and general fitness training. In fact, so I've done some extra things that are kind of outside the boxercise umbrella, but you know, that might interest you, it might not. It depends really. Any other questions, guys? I'll stop the recording if there aren't any, because they're good questions, those. Oh, is it possible to do a standards and the kids boxercise as a oh, hang on. Is it possible to do standard course and kids in the deal? Yes, definitely, absolutely, Sam. The way that it works is it's 2 courses. So you do the boxercise course. You have to do that first because we've got to make sure people have got that foundation to build on. Because we do get some people who are a bit, you know, smart alecky, and they're like, oh yeah, I've done loads, you know, I've done loads and loads. I can start at the top level. It's like, no, you can't. Not unless you can coach using visual, auditory, and kinesthetic methods. So you start with a basic one and then add the kids course. There's 2 courses, so you get them for 219 quid. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely, the kids course is part of that thing. There's deals if you want to do like 3 courses, but most people start with 2. That's a normal thing. Can you do the kids boxercise course as a standalone course? Only, that was from Paul, only after you've passed the boxercise instructor training course, the basic foundation course. You cannot do that as a standalone course because all the techniques are in the first course. The kids boxercise course is the adaptations for children, including the so health and safety, what's a DBS, why do you need it? Or if you're in the Republic of Ireland, Garda vetting, how do you get it? What do you do? What should be in your parents' pack? All the information that should be in those sorts of things, plus examples, of course. Then there is warm up and cool down. Then there and examples, games, millions of games, loads of them. In fact, we've just in the process of upgrading the Boxercise for Kids course. We're doing two new things are going. There's 101 new games going, one resource, and there's 39 others. So there's 140 new games being uploaded to that course as we speak. So it'll take us a week or two to get it done, but it's going to be even better than it was. In the afternoon, you do the physiology of the growing child, the obvious thing, how much water should they drink? How often should they drink it? Those sorts of things. Why should they only drink water? So physiology of kids, and then muscular strength and endurance and class structure at the end. So that's the kids course. Is there a monthly or annual fee? Yeah, there is. 40 quid a year, and that's it. And that includes everything, license to use the name, everything. So, and free refreshers, the lot. So yeah, it is, and it's 40 quid. And also that entitles you to cheaper Boxercise branded equipment. So, so we've got a set of pads there. These are leather pads. These would sometimes, depends where you get them from, but they cost you quite a bit. But we sell these out at £35 a pair, which is good for a set of leather pads. The ones that we sell to these ones being sold to the public, don't look for the price of these on our website now, because you'll see they're about 50 odd quid. So you get them a lot cheaper if you're an instructor. I think that's all the questions. I'll end the recording now.